Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. It is Wednesday. I hope all is well and you are enjoying your week in this gorgeous weather that we're having here. Oh, I was about to apologise then right at the start, 10 seconds in, I was about to apologise. I'm not going to do that. But I know this video normally comes a little bit earlier in the day, but I was a bit busy today checking a few things out. So it's coming a little bit later by the time you watch this. If you watch it first, it'll be just up after sort of midday, and I'll try and get it done at about 11 o'clock, but just couldn't do it today because I wanted to check things out regarding the main guy that I was going to be talking about, and that is Kai Havertz. I'm sure you've seen some links with Arsenal and Kai Havertz in the last sort of week or so. Matt Law at the Telegraph first reporting that Arsenal were interested in Kai Havertz, and Andrew over at Arsblog wrote a really good column on him this morning where he said he'd heard the interest was genuine. I retweeted Andrew's column earlier today, his blog post. Get over and read it because I think it's a really good one. You'll find it on my social media if you haven't read it already on Arsblog's tweet. And he's right. As far as I'm aware, Kai Havertz is a player of interest to Arsenal. Now, when I first started seeing these links, I was like, that can't be right. I just didn't really, I looked at it and thought, would Arsenal really be interested in Havertz? But as far as I've been told, there is interest in Havertz. He is a player that they are talking about for this summer. Obviously, nothing's happened yet. There's no bid or anything like that. So, I'm sure they're talking about lots of players this summer. But even the fact that he is on the list of potential targets has surprised me, but as far as I'm aware, he very much is on the list. The more you think about it, the more, in a way, you can understand it, because he fits a lot of the traits that Arteta and Edu look for in players at the moment. He's the right age. He's Premier League proven, Premier League ready. I say Premier League proven, not quite sure. Premier League ready, certainly. It won't, doesn't need time to adjust. He's versatile. He can play across the front line, and he adds a little bit of height to a forward line that doesn't really have that, which this summer you think is a pretty important thing potentially for Arsenal to add. He's good in the air. He's proven that, certainly. I think with Chelsea players recently, I think it's very hard to judge them because of the mess that club has been in and the poor form they've been in. I think it's hard to judge. I said that yesterday about Mudryk, and how people writing him off as a flop, I think, is just really out of order, because I think anyone would have found it hard to come in and impress in the given what Mudryk had to sort of walk into at Stamford Bridge. Havertz has obviously been there longer. He's had a longer time to try and impress. He hasn't exactly done it there. He certainly hasn't sort of lived up to the billing when he arrived. He did obviously score the winner in a Champions League final for them, so I don't think you can ever call him a flop there because he's done that. Basically repaid off the transfer fee alone with that one goal. But he's not. I look at it and I think, would I be excited by Kai Havertz? I'd probably say no. But, if Arsenal had signed him and brought him out of Germany when Chelsea did, everyone would have been very, very excited about the signing because he was what he was doing over there. So, it'd be one I'd keep an open mind over. And I think Arteta has got a proven track record of improving players should he arrive, and getting very good stuff out of players should he arrive. And Havertz is technically, he's good. He can score goals. He can set up goals. He's good in the air, and he's versatile. So it wouldn't be one that I'd totally write off, but it's one that it's certainly surprised me a little bit. But as far as I'm aware, there is genuine interest in Kai Havertz from Arsenal. So let me know what you guys think about all that. Are you and me a little bit like, I'm not sure? Are you very much against it? Or do you think there's a player there that Arteta can get the very best out of should he come in? Let me know, as always, in the comments below. Sort of on the back of that, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jorginho and Thomas Partey. Now, again, there's more rumours, more stories linking Thomas Partey with a move away. Jorginho as well, we know, has been linked with Lazio recently, but for me, selling those two players just doesn't make any sense. Even if Arsenal signed Declan Rice, which we hope they will, of course, and Moises Caicedo, I still don't think you get rid of Jorginho or Thomas Partey. You're already pretty much certain to lose Granit Xhaka this summer unless something pretty remarkable happens. So why would you consider even selling the other two? I think Jorginho's been great since he came in. I think he's really proved a lot of people wrong and can proved me wrong, to be honest. I was very suspect about it all, but I think he's been really, really good and proven that he's got a lot more still to give. And Thomas Partey, yes, he had a poor end to the season and his form did fall off a cliff and it was really disappointing to see. But for 2/3 of the season, he was absolutely fantastic. Arsenal are in the Champions League next season. I've said it so many times, it's not just about improving the starting 11 for Arsenal. It's about improving the first sort of 16, 17, 18 players. So when you do make changes, when you do rotate, which Mikel Arteta is going to have to do this summer, that there is no massive drop-off in quality. That's what makes Manchester City so strong, is they can rotate, Pep can do what he wants, leave players out, bring players in, and the quality of the team just doesn't suffer because they're all, that first sort of 18 players in the squad are so good and at such a similar level. And that's what Arsenal need to get to. So why would you even consider selling Thomas Partey and Jorginho, even if you signed Rice and Caicedo? Because you're going to have to rotate. You're going to have to, that's what cost Arsenal last season. So it just doesn't really make any sense to me, I have to say. I think Jorginho's certainly got a lot more to give. I think, he deservedly pushed Thomas Partey out the side towards the end of last season with some of his performances. He was really, really good, even in those high-intensity games. You think back to the Newcastle game at St James's Park, all the talk about Jorginho's, his legs have gone, he can't do it anymore. You get runners past him and that's it. But that game at St James's Park was one of the most high-energy, high-intensity games that I've seen all season. Newcastle were bang on it, and Jorginho was brilliant. He stood up to it and did it all. And kept moving the ball forward, playing his own game. It was a really, really impressive performance, and one that I thought proved an awful lot of doubters wrong up there about, whether his legs had gone and whether he can really compete in that sort of high-intensity situation, because he did it, and he did it very, very well. And we know that Thomas Partey is a fantastic player. He showed that for 2/3 of the season. Yes, his form dipped, but I'm still convinced there must have been, there was a big injury issue with that. And I don't know that for sure. But, when you look at Thomas Partey, you kind of know when he's not fit. You can see when he's not fit. And the fact he went over to the for that last international break with Ghana, he missed the second game. The Arsenal had the physio with him. It just feels like there was some sort of injury issue there that potentially was hampering him over the final weeks of the season. And that could well be a big reason why he basically seemed to be struggling to run at times in the second when he came in. You look back to that Manchester City game and it was definitely not right. There's no way he was 100% for that game against Manchester City. So you're not writing Thomas Partey off just because of a few bad games at the end of last season. And I said even if Caicedo and Rice signed this summer, I'd still start the season with Thomas Partey in that midfield because if he's had a good pre-season and he's fully fit, I still start him as that holding midfielder in that midfield personally. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Always, would you see selling either of those two as essential or even needed if Arsenal sign Caicedo and Declan Rice? Are you in the same camp as me, or do you think that it's best to move on, maybe get a bit of money for them? Let me know, as always, in the comments below. Emile Smith Rowe has been called up for the England under-21s tournament this summer, the Euros. He's in the squad, which I think will be good for him. He obviously didn't play much football. Normally you want your players to have a proper break in the summer, but look, I think Smith Rowe needs minutes, he needs football. We didn't get any of it last season, so as much as that you can get this summer, the better. Yes, you'll probably miss a little bit of pre-season because of that, which isn't exactly ideal, but he's going to be playing proper matches in a tournament situation, and I think that can only be a good thing, and hopefully he'll come back from that fit and ready to start the new season. So yeah, Smith Rowe included in the England under-21s squad. Right, let's move on to some of your questions, shall we, from yesterday's video. I didn't get to go down and reply to any of the comments yesterday. Apologies, another apology for me, but I was out for most of the day and so I couldn't get to it. But so I've gone through this morning, I've picked out a few of these ones, and here's what's this is at CIAB8723. Says, thank you very much for your comment. It says, please talk about Carragher's comments regarding Rice to Arsenal. I am so sick of the disrespect Arsenal is shown by pundits like Carragher, Neville, Ferdinand, etc. Carragher said Rice is going to a club that will not challenge for big titles. Where does he get off? I'm sick of this now, and I wish people would start calling these guys out. To be fair, I do like calling out the likes of Carragher and Neville. And if you haven't seen it, basically, right, I think Carragher was writing in one of his newspaper columns, and he said it's difficult with Declan Rice. They're at clubs that probably aren't going to challenge for the Premier League or Champions League, but unless you go to Man City, there is no guarantee you're going to come in and win trophies anywhere. You want to give yourself the best opportunity, and the tough question for Arsenal heading into next season is whether this was a one-off or whether they can be consistent and challenge the biggest sides. Because it hasn't happened for a long time. I always felt that he would go to Chelsea, but he could go to Arsenal, and it could be great for him. He's a step up from what he's got, but there is no guarantee he'll go on to win the biggest trophies with them. Of course, there's no guarantees he'll go on and win the biggest trophies, but you can't give anyone guarantees unless you go to Germany, which he could have done, and play for Bayern Munich, who are obviously interested in him, or unless maybe you go to even Barca and Real Madrid. You can't guarantee trophies. Manchester City potentially at the moment you can guarantee trophies, but other than that, you just got to take a punt and sort of listen and talk to the people at the club and get a sense of if you like it or not. And he clearly is very excited about a potential move to Arsenal. Yes, there's no guarantees, but when Sol Campbell moved to Arsenal in 2002, there was no guarantees they were going to win anything. At that point, they hadn't won the title for 3 seasons. United had won 3 in a row. And yet he comes in, he wins a double in his first season, then goes on 2 years later and wins his title unbeaten. He made that move. He improved Arsenal. He took them to the next level, and then they went on and won trophies. So that who's to say that's not what Declan Rice has done? So, in a way, I can understand what Carragher means, but sometimes you just got to take a chance in a transfer, and you've got to believe in what you're being told by the club you're looking to join. And under one thing I can say for absolute certain is that under Arteta, he is going to be trying to challenge for the top trophies. That is his mindset, it's his mentality. He's not going to accept just sitting back and being second best. He's going to push all the way, and we've got to wait and see if it pans out, and that is what happens. But so yeah, that's my response to that. Thank you very much for your question. Robert Mullen 6935 says rumours emerging Arsenal swapping Martinelli for a Barcelona striker. Football 365 said Arsenal consider Martinelli's swap deal with opening bid for La Liga striker. I mean, look, I'm not even going to spend any time talking about this really, but yeah, Arsenal are not going to be swapping Gabriel Martinelli for anyone this summer. You can absolutely write that and set that in stone. I mean, I haven't seen that story, but he's just signed a new contract. Gabriel Martinelli is not going anywhere this summer. He's a huge part of the project. That is just absolutely not going to happen. Who we got here? Black Dark Red 79 says, is there any chance, even slim chance, we bid for Mbappe? We can afford him. Look, I very much hope that this gets clipped up in the future and gets played millions of times and millions of people laugh at me. But no, Arsenal are not going to bid for Kylian Mbappe this summer. I think if he goes anywhere, there's one club he's probably going to go to, or potentially 2. Manchester City might be one of them. But Real Madrid, Kylian Mbappe, it just seems like it's going to happen. Look, I think he's on about £1 million a month. £1 million a week, at PSG. That is just not in the realms of possibility for Arsenal. And so as much as I would love Kylian Mbappe at Arsenal, I mean, come on, you can't sit there and seriously think it's something that is realistic or that the club will be doing. It's just financially, it's just on another level. Like, Arsenal are very good payers. Their wage bill is going to increase a lot over the next couple of years because of the players they're going to be bringing in, because they're going to be in the Champions League. But I mean, £1 million a week, it's just not going to happen. So no, I don't think there's even a slim chance, but thank you very much. Okay, and Hassan says, hi Charles, you never read my comments. Well, here you go, I'm reading one now. I really think KRC are not doing enough, to be fair. We need to sign a statement signing like Haaland. With United getting Qatari money and Newcastle with Saudi money as well as City, we won't be able to compete on the highest level. If someone like Mbappe is available, then we should try at least. Why not? I know he's out of our league, but we are the Arsenal and we can at least try. So what if we pay him 450 grand a week? I mean, it kind of answered it in the last question. I mean, you say, so what if we pay him 450 grand a week? I mean, there's a lot of so what's there. Just that it couldn't happen. It would blow the wage bill out. Arsenal just don't have that unlimited money. They're not a state-backed club. KSC, I think, to be fair, when you say they're not doing enough, they're doing a fair bit at the moment. They've spent a lot of money the last few years. They've committed a lot of money the last few years. They're going to commit a lot of money again this summer. But you've got to be realistic. It's not Championship Manager. And you just can't sit there and think that Arsenal will be able to compete with the state-funded clubs for a player like Kylian Mbappe. It's just beyond the realms of possibility because of the wages involved. and because of the transfer fee on top of that, but then the wages involved, it's just, unfortunately, I would love it for it to be possible, and I really hope I'm proved wrong and Arsenal do go out and bid for Kylian Mbappe and get it done, but it's just not going to happen. Come on, we've got to be realistic here, people. Arsenal will they'll be very active in this transfer window. They'll try and spend an awful lot of money, but that's just one step too far, in my opinion. Thank you very much for watching. Everyone, appreciate your time as always. Thank you for the comments. And we'll be back tomorrow to discuss all things Arsenal, answer some more of your questions, comments. And have a great day. Speak to you soon.